Hello everybody and welcome to lesson 3 of reading this week, and we're on chapter 5, Robin and the Potter. Our learning objective is to demonstrate understanding of a character's actions. So take a minute to pause the video, write down the date and the learning objective and underline it with a pencil and ruler in your best handwriting, and then we're ready to have a look at the recap of what we read about yesterday. Okay. And we'll move on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, what do you remember? So, what happened to Richard Malbeat? What is a cutthroat? And how would you describe the Sheriff of Nottingham? We've got some retrieve and define questions there. So pause the video now. Try to answer those underneath the LO in your book. And then once you're ready, unpause the video and then check your answers against mine. We'll have a look at them in 3, 2, 1, now. So Richard Malbeat, well, he lost the letter, and when he arrived at Nottingham Castle, the sheriff called him names such as rogue, villain, knave, remember? And ordered his guards to put him in the stocks as punishment. And you remember what the stocks were? They looked very uncomfortable. A cutthroat is a murderer or a violent criminal. And the sheriff, this is how I described him. It's quite a long one I've used here, but yours might be shorter or use different words. As long as you get along the lines that he's a nasty man, that's the main thing. So the sheriff is a cruel, vicious nobleman who hates Robin Hood. He is thin and dresses in expensive clothes. Traders in the castle grounds fear his violent temper and are forced to sell their goods at the price he wants to pay. Okay. So if you got something along those lines, well done. We're ready to look at today's vocabulary. So what have we got? We've got youth. So if it says youth, it means as a child or when you were younger, as a teenager or a young person, depending on who's speaking. But youth means in childhood or younger than you are now when you're a young person. Tilting yard. Now this is a new one. I hadn't heard of this before. But a tilting yard is a place in the castle where tournaments would happen. So there used to be a thing called jousting where you would have a knight on horseback with a shield in lots of colours of their house, and they have a thing called a lance, which is a long pointy stick, and they try to knock off the other rider who is coming in the other direction. Maybe you've seen it before in a cartoon or something, but they used to have those tournaments which were called jousting. And the other one is archery. As we know, archery is with a bow and arrow and you fire it at a target, and whoever gets the most points or hits the target the most times is the winner of the tournament. But where this would happen in the castle was a place called the tilting yard. The next word is longbow, and a longbow is a large bow which needs to be pulled back by hand like that and then fire a feathered arrow. Okay, so the arrows on the end of them have feathers to keep them flying through the air and going in a straight direction. The next word is turf, and turf is just another word for grass. Okay, modestly. Well, if you do something modestly, it's the antonym or the opposite of boasting. Okay, so I could be humble or modest about winning something, or on the other hand, I could boast about winning. So modest. If you're modest, you're polite. And finally, military. So military or military, soldiers or army. So in this case, it's talking about medieval soldiers when it says military. Okay, good. What are we going to do with these words then? Well, we're going to write at least 3 sentences, or maybe even 1 sentence, using 3 of the words, okay? Using these red words. So I want you to pause the video and use 3 of those words in sentences, And once you're finished, make sure that you have your capital letters, full stops, punctuation as it should be, and you're happy with your sentence, because I'll show you one of my own as well. Right, we'll move on in 3, 2, 1. Here's my one. So it says, the potter took his longbow to the tilting yard. Of course, I wonder what the potter was going to do, taking his longbow to the tilting yard. Maybe he was going to join an archery competition or something. Who knows? I made it up, so I don't know. So I've used there longbow, I've used tilting, and I've used yard. Very good. Right, let's move on to today's reading. So let's go back first of all. It's page 39. I doubt this Robin Hood can be as great a bowman as men say, said a merchant. No man alive could hit the marks he is said to hit. Saxon gossip, said the captain of the castle guard. They say he splits a stick at 50 paces, said the potter shyly. They say, said the Norman. I say, and I will wager on it, I will bet, that I can come as close to that as any Saxon. What say you to that, Potter? The Potter glanced around the table. It seems, my Lord Sheriff, that as I am the only Saxon here, that challenge is meant for me. But I am no longer of the build to draw a bow, he went on, patting his large stomach, although I did so often enough in my youth. But if the Norman captain gave a great shout of laughter. Ha! I didn't mean you, Potter, though if you would care to live your youth again, to take up the challenge, I'll let you shoot from the halfway mark. Excellent, cried the sheriff, and standing up, he led the way to the tilting yard. A stick was set in the ground, and the Norman captain stepped back 50 paces. Drawing his short military bow back to full stretch, he took careful aim. There was applause from the onlookers as the arrow thudded into the turf, only 2 inches from the stick. The captain looked pleased as he paced out the halfway mark and handed the bow to the potter. That was a fine shot, said the potter. And look, there's the captain taking his shot, and people in the background. There's the sheriff, and there's the potter watching. Okay. Then he selected an arrow and took aim. There was an even greater shout as his arrow split the stick in 2. By the saints, cried the sheriff, you are a better bowman than you are a trader, Master Potter. It was a lucky shot, said the potter modestly. I could not do it again. I would like to know that for certain, said the Norman captain ruefully. So the potter took another arrow. He seemed to hesitate before he shot, and the arrow missed the mark, which pleased the sheriff and the captain. I am more used to the Saxon longbow, said the potter. That rogue you spoke of. Robin Hood gave me one, and... You have met Robin Hood? Said the sheriff suspiciously. Only passing through Sherwood Forest, replied the potter. I shot around with him. Then he gave me the bow. Ooh. Look, there we go. There's the surprise on all of their faces and the cheering people in the background as this mysterious potter, who only we know who it is, and they don't, has split the stick in 2. Awesome. Okay. It's question time, everyone. We've got an infer, predict, define, and retrieve reading gem here. We're getting all the colours. Great stuff. So the first question, it says, the Norman captain gave a great shout of laughter. Why do you think he laughed at the potter? The second question, why do you think the potter missed the target? Third question, find the word used to refer to Robin Hood in the text, and is it meant in a friendly way? And then finally, can you tell me, what is a knave? Brilliant. Pause the video now, and then once you're ready to check your answers, then mine will come up on the screen, and we'll have a look. I'll go through the answers in 3, 2, 1. Right, so there we are. The Norman captain believed he was very good at archery and found it funny that the Potter would challenge him to a round. This is because the captain thinks the Potter is too fat and old to beat him, and he shows off by letting the Potter shoot from halfway. He does not realise it's Robin Hood in disguise. The Potter missed the target on purpose because the sheriff and the captain might have suspected him to be Robin Hood if he kept hitting the target, and he also wants to gain the sheriff and captain's trust to carry out his plan. The Potter refers to Robin Hood as a rogue, and we know that this is actually Robin Hood talking about himself here while in disguise, but he says it again he says it to gain the trust of the sheriff, and we know that a rogue is a dishonest person, so it's not meant in a friendly way. And finally, a knave is a dishonest and untrustworthy person. Okay, well done with those. Let's move on. Okay, I've got a different challenge here now. I've got the characters along the bottom. We've got Robin, Maid Marian, Little John, Will Scarlet, Friar Tuck, and Alan a Dale from the Merry Men. And what we're going to do is, we don't actually know how they became outlaws. Why are they wanted by the sheriff? What did they do wrong in the first place? I want you to come up with an idea of their backstory, which means, what did they do that was so bad that the sheriff is now after them and wants to get them captured and put in the dungeon? So, did Robin rob from the castle? Did he rob from the sheriff en route? Did he kill any of his men? Why is he after Maid Marian? This is your chance to choose one of those characters, just one, and then write a reason why the sheriff wants them caught. Okay, pause the video now and give that a go. We'll move on in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now that we've chosen one of those characters and we've said what they did wrong, we can actually draw a storyboard with pictures of what they did that was so bad that they became an outlaw. So, for example, you could have Robin Hood here, and when he became an outlaw, maybe he robbed from the castle, and you could say, picture 1, there's Robin Hood climbing up the wall of the castle. Number 2, you could have the sheriff sleeping in his bed, holding onto a money bag. I'm just making this up. This is up to you, however you want to do it. And then number 3, Robin Hood escaping. Number 4, the sheriff's men running after Robin Hood into the forest. Number 5, Robin Hood hiding in a tree. Number 6, which is the last one, Robin Hood giving the money out that he's taken to the poor. Okay, I'll leave you with that. It's up to you who you choose and how you want to do it and how you want to storyboard it. Remember that a storyboard has pictures and it has words. But well done today, and join me again tomorrow for more.